Hey, this is Politics with Laura, and I got a good one for you today. Just when you think Democrats can't put themselves into a little tiny box that they can't work their way out of, oh man, this is a huge one. A huge one. Democrats have built their platform on immigration. Come on, we want you. We want you. And as long as they were not coming to the sanctuary cities up north, everything was fine. Now that the southern governors start sending the immigrants to bring them up to other not countries, but other states and cities, now it's a problem. Democrats talk out both sides of their mouth. Here and here. They speak garbage. Yes, you may not like what I'm saying, but I'm going to prove it to you. All right. Now, the one that I know about, Mill Bowser in D.C. made D.C. a permanent sanctuary city. She can't walk this one back. Oh, no. Okay, this right here was D.C. inches closer to becoming sanctuary city permanently. It sounds great for politics talking point, something to say that you have on paper, but it's completely different when you have to implement it and share resources that you said that you're going to give to people that come here illegally and legally, but mostly illegally. And let's be honest about it. You may not like what I say, but where did I lie? All right. And the wild part is, I live in DC and I talked to Mill Bowser and I was like, this isn't going to work. And yeah, I'm going to tag her on this. It says the District of Columbia Council on Tuesday unanimously approved a permanent version of the Sanctuary Values Act legislation that restricts cooperation between local agencies and Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, and strengthen the statutes of the U.S. Capitol as a sanctuary city. Now, this is what this means. This means that if a person, a person that has, let's say, an illegal immigrant may commit a crime, whatever it is, jaywalking, whatever, and then ICE wants to come after this person. Now, the local local agencies will refuse to work with the federal law enforcement. But it gets very interesting. Oh man, look, fair play is a two-way street. You can't make this stuff up. Oh my goodness, you can't. And I'm laughing. Not at the situation, but I'm laughing at the mayor because I told her this, and I'm still laughing at you, Mayor Bowser. Whenever you make policy to try to stay in office, but you don't really do any. Let me back up. Let me back it up. Back it up. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, just over a year ago, the government body had passed an emergency version of this law, but it was only a temporary measure. Keep in mind, temporary. Okay. Sanctuary Values Act prohibits jails, police, and other city agencies from sharing information with ICE and giving them special access. It also restricts the city's prisons from functioning as immigration detention centers and amends a and amends a loophole used by ICE and the U.S. Marshals to detain immigrants outside of D.C. Superior Court. According to activists, this measure is essential to keeping immigrant families together and safe from deportation. And then here you see it's very interesting. Reporting and accountability requirements, a ban on immigration detention centers in DC, limits. And look, she dug a big hole, and you're going to see where she dug it. I'm going to go to the next, because this was done in 2020. Oh, when was this article written? Because I had to go back. Two years ago. Okay, now here's the other one. You can't make this stuff up. Department of Defense denies DC mayor's request. The same one, Mayor Bowser. DC mayor's request for National Guard's help with influx of immigrants sent to the north by Texas. You can't make this up, Mayor Bowser. I told you. I told you. We are a declining country. We cannot afford the immigrants. And you're too busy saying this stuff to keep your job, to keep the policies, to keep people, to keep liberals voting for you. And look, oh, it gets better. It gets better. And this attitude that I have is out of frustration, because it's not about the people. It is simply about ideology and telling people the ideology to maintain your job. And that's what this is all about. Shameful, shameful, shameful. Okay, denies. And this right here, guess when this was? Where is the date? I know this is 3 days ago. August 6th, 2022. Now, the policy that she put in place was 2 years ago. What a huge difference. 3 days ago, these buses come in, all of a sudden you want the National Guard to come in. But here's the reason why they told her no. Oh, this is shameful how you do people. Okay, the Department of Defense denied DC Mayor Muriel Bowser's request for the National Guards to assist with the influx of immigrants created by Texas Governor Greg Abbott's busing the immigrants to the city, according to a letter reviewed by NBC News. The letter from the Executive Secretary of Department of Defense said the city has sufficient funding from the federal government emergency management agency that has been given to DC nonprofits that can provide the immigrants with shelter and other services. Now, okay. This is the same city that was locked down for 2 years. This is the same city that has lost businesses and jobs due to the pandemic. Now, a lot of these businesses were going under before the pandemic because people were losing their jobs and weren't able to work. Meanwhile, you have more immigrants that are coming in who do not believe that we're broke. They don't believe it. They're like, this is the United States of America. There's money there and I want it. We're broke. We look. We live in public housing with Gucci handbags and Gucci belts on, drinking Perrier water with a food stamp card. That's what we are. We're broke. This is the main point. Check this out. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It gets. After careful consideration of the department has concluded it cannot fulfill the request, Kelly Bullinger Holly, told Christopher Rodriguez, the director of DC Homeland Security of Emergency Management Agency. Here's a kick in the gut. I understand a non-governmental organization, SAMU, First Response, have received federal grants funding via the Emergency Food and Shelter Program, FEMA, for this mission. Notably, this program supplements funding for humanitarian relief efforts by governments and social services organizations for the purpose of providing shelter and supportive services to families and individuals, the letter said. Abbott, a Republican who has been highly critical of the Biden administration border policies, began sending immigrants on buses paid for by the government taxpayer to DC in April. On Friday, he began sending the immigrants to New York as well. I wonder how AOC is feeling about this. Oh man, I would love to see the look on your face. Just like during the 90s when in Florida, when the Cubans wanted the Cubans, say, hey, come here, we want the Cubans, but Fidel, oh my goodness, Fidel Castro opened up the jails and insane asylums and sent the Cubans. They're like, nah, we're not talking about those Cubans. No, we don't. Okay. The hypocrisy. Okay, sorry about that. Abbott, a Republican who has. Let me see, is this it? Okay, I'm sorry. In a Friday morning press conference, Bowser said she has seen the letter and that her office may send an amended request to DOD, doubling down on the claims that the city is overwhelmed. Well, let me most definitely say this. Of course the city is overwhelmed. All sanctuary cities are overwhelmed. When you put out a sign saying, hey, come on, we got free stuff for you. Just come. We'll make sure you have food. We'll make sure that you have shelter. We make sure that you have everything that you need. Meanwhile, in DC, in my area, there are so much homelessness. And that's why Mayor Bowser is trying to bring in the Department of Defense and bringing in the National Guards. You made a policy, you backed the policy, and you made all of these big hoo-has about it, and guess what? You can't afford the policy. You have so many people here that are coming in, and matter of fact, I think what I'm going to do is just in my area alone, I'm just going to walk up there and just interview the people who are immigrants, and then I can ask them, why did they come? And they'll tell you. They're very clear. And it's not about it is about jobs. They don't have work in their country. It's not about running from any government oppression. It's not about being killed or any of those things. It's simply because they want jobs. Here in the United States, we simply want jobs. That is it. You can't make this stuff up. Okay. Let me go back to... Oh, wow. Okay, it wasn't going to let me hold it that long anyway. Okay, so it is a huge problem. You have the southern borders that are having an influx of immigrants coming in, and illegal immigrants coming in the way they want to come in. And if you don't like that, don't get mad at me. You go down there and tell them to come in the way they are supposed to. Because there is a door. Say, come enter here, not over here. You come in the way you want to. That's not how it's done. And if anyone, whether if you're a conservative or liberal, if you don't like what I said, then I would like for you to come up with an alternative instead of the crap that I just may get from that statement. Okay, on that note, the immigration, it is a serious problem. It is, and it's not the people. It is our politicians that are putting a bullhorn and flashing lights saying, hey, come here, we got all this stuff for you. And when we don't, it is just them doing their talking points to get votes. And the sad part about it is that immigrants believe what these politicians are saying, and the politicians are not telling the truth. They're just trying to keep their jobs. And now you have Muriel Bowser trying to bring in the National Guards to get control of the illegal immigrants that were down there in Texas, because she said this is a sanctuary city. Now that they come, oh, we can't handle... Man, in DC, I live in DC. I live in the thick of it, and it is rough. Woo. On that note, I want to thank you for stopping by. But before that, please like, subscribe if you like my content. If you don't like my content, subscribe, dislike my video, and tell me why you don't like it. On that note, you could be anywhere, and I'm glad you're here with me because I'm politically incorrect. Very much so. And guess what? So are you, because you're watching me. On that note, I want to thank you for stopping by.